Today's gone by fast. Today's gone by really fast. So I'm struggling to catch up. So hopefully I'm caught up. Well, this is it. This is the last part of my day. So good evening, Sabrina. Nice to have you on. It's nice to meet you earlier. All right, so we're 1 minute in, so let's jump in and get started. Let me see. Let me mute this, a mute site. We're good there. Make sure I've posted in our Facebook group the link just in case anybody wants to join us live. Yes, I did. All right, perfect. All right, so welcome to the final day of our 3-day workshop. So how did you guys enjoy yesterday? How did you feel about yesterday's learnings and happenings on yesterday? Any major aha moments? Are you I see you talking, Lisa, but I don't think you're talking to us, right? Yeah, I don't think she's talking to us. What did you guys think of yesterday? What did you get out of yesterday's discussion? You guys can come off mute, you can put in chat, whatever you decide. You know how I am. Not going to let us go until you talk. You guys even remember? Is it a blur? Was Wednesday been rough to you guys? You don't even remember what we talked about? I can give you guys a quick recap. We talked about the numbers, your numbers, and what's important to track or think about tracking. Don't track numbers just for the sake of it. Do you guys feel like you got a better handle on what to track in your travel business now? I can, barely. Whoever's talking.
I'm sorry. Okay, yes.
Yeah, I can hear you now. How was it for you, Sabrina?
Tracking, basically learning those techniques that I need to track in my business. That was very helpful. And also coming up with ways to track it. So I really thought that was
good. Good. I'm glad to hear that. I was just working on some numbers today and meeting with some people too. And so, yesterday was really around, my biggest goal for everyone watching yesterday's day 2 was it feels good to track some things, but not all things necessarily get you to the goal that you want to achieve. And really, I just want to empower you all to track the right things so that you can achieve the goals that you want. Because at the end of the day, we're in business because running a business, it's not the easiest thing in the world you can do. And so hopefully you're creating a business that you love. And so we want you to achieve whatever it is that you want to achieve. So we want to make sure we track those things that are going to help you achieve that. So that was really what yesterday's session was all about. Monday's session was all about the reputation that you are creating in your business and just making sure that you've got a plan in place to manage your reputation. So again, you're in business to accomplish whatever it is that you're in business to accomplish, to create amazing experiences, to make money, whatever that looks like, whatever your why is. We want to make sure that you are actively managing the messaging that goes out around who you are in the marketplace, right? So who you are as a business owner, the kind of service you deliver, and making sure that you showcase the amazingness that is you on your website, on your platforms, and just controlling the message as much and as best as you can. Today, what we're going to talk about are really kind of an accumulation of all that we've talked about over the last 2 days, and really focus on the tools for your success in the management of both of those areas of your business. And so from a tools perspective, you guys all know that I'm pretty geeky when it comes to tools. We've talked about reputation, we talked about reporting and tracking. So what I want to do is really kind of recap some of the critical tools that are going to help you do that in your business so it doesn't become another task that you're like, oh my God, now I've got this other thing. There's another list of things that I've got to do. We want to try and make that as easy as possible. So we're going to talk through that. I'm going to demo some of those features for you and then talk about what that looks like in the very near future when it comes to Travel Pro Suite. You guys game for that? Hopefully so. Perfect. All right. So on the reputation management side, just as a recap, the biggest value that we can help you with is centralizing your testimonials or your reviews from Facebook and or Google My Business, and then also providing you tools to capture feedback through surveys and forms that you will have with your clients. You can also promote and showcase those reviews on your social media platforms because we have social media integration. We integrate with Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, and Google My Business as well. We give you the ability to actually automate the request for review process. So I don't really enjoy asking for reviews. I do it, but I don't really enjoy it. And I never remember to do it. And so I like the idea of it just automatic. I set it up and it kind of goes out by itself. I think Sabrina asked about Pinterest. We do not have a direct integration with Pinterest as of yet. I've heard it's coming, but as a platform, we do not have an integration with Pinterest yet. But just automating the feedback. So the feedback request process. So if after a trip you have a survey that you want to ask your clients and you want to capture that, maybe you don't want to go straight to posting a review on your Google page or your Facebook review page. You want to solicit feedback through a form or a survey. We can automate you sending that out, the collecting of that information, ultimately summarizing that, and then getting some feedback. We do that in our space all day long, in addition to the review process. And then really being able to monitor your presence. So these are critical. So it's one thing to have the ability to have reviews, but not to be able to, you got to log into Google, Google's backend, you got to log into Facebook to be able to reply to the reviews. Being able to have that in one central location, that's really what we will help you be able to do. On the reporting and tracking side, we didn't really spend a lot of time yesterday on that, so I'm going to spend most of my time today kind of showing you some of the features that are available to you from a reporting and tracking perspective. Although you get the luxury of defining what you want to track, it may not be as intuitive to determine how to track it or get that information out of the system. So today we're going to spend some time on exploring how do you extract data out of the system. Where can it go? The different types of things that you can get out of the system. Custom reporting, although there isn't a native custom reporting tool in our system yet, extracting data in a flat CSV file, connecting to Google. If you are a spreadsheet person, that ability exists. There are dashboards, analytic dashboards that are available in the tool. And then there's some actual custom dashboards that we will be releasing in this month. And I'll talk a little bit about that. If you are, you struggle with getting all of your trip, information to your accountant in terms of your sales, we do have financial integration that you can integrate with QuickBooks. So we'll talk about how you can do that. Once you get to that stage, you may or may not be there now, but one of the biggest things in the development of our Opus process that I wanted to see for you all is to get out of focusing on operations. At the beginning of the year when I started this series, one of the things that I said is that the majority of your time, 10% of your time should really be focused on operations. 90% of your time should be focused on marketing, right? Making sure that your business is out in front of the type of person that you want to be. And so you may not be there now, but quickly you will be once you standardize your process and you have it all down. You're going to want to run Facebook ads potentially, or Google ads, or do some sort of marketing, and you're going to want to understand the health of that marketing. So being able to understand the campaigns and how they're performing. In our VIP session, we talked about URL builders. That's one critical component of campaign performance analysis. So we do have the ability to do that. So I'm going to show you, at least introduce that concept to you when I show that to you. And then client relationship insights, just seeing the information about your clients. You guys are getting leads, you've got your clients that you're working with, but again, like, what are they doing? What's their behavior? What's the trends that you're seeing? Kind of analyzing your client data periodically is going to be something that you're going to be interested in doing. So some of these concepts may be, you may not be there yet, but what I do want to at least do today, and the purpose of this part of the workshop, is for those that have been with us since January, December of last year, we've effectively gone through the 5 stages of Opus. If you are new to this, we're about to restart the other 4. So next month, we'll be starting the travel request process, and we're just really going to be running through each of the major workflows again. But if you've been with us since the end of the last year, these are the workflows. You've got our entire Opus workflow. You have exposure to that, and reporting is really the end. Is once you've built everything out, it's really how do you track that information and start to be able to gather that information in a way that's going to be meaningful. So this is the reason why we end our Opus, series with reporting, because again, you may not be there yet, but you certainly will be forthcoming. So one of the things I just want to remind you, because like there's some of the members who've been on for the last couple of months are on, Lisa, I'm going to call you out, right? She's been working on this wedding for, the last couple of months. She's got this big wedding destination that she's planning, and right, being able to see the metrics on how many people started and how many appointments she had and how many actually converted into trips. She may not be concerned about that now, but in a couple of weeks, a couple of months, you may be concerned about, like, how well did that, how much time did it take you when you think about analyzing this whole trip? You just, she wrote, it's driving her crazy, right? Because it's a lot of work. And I don't know if you charged a fee, right? You want qualitative data on the amount of work that you're doing. Hopefully your commission makes you smile, but if it isn't making you smile and you don't charge for your hosting of these types of trips, right? There's a great opportunity from a profitability perspective to really start to think, right? She wrote, I didn't charge enough for the fee, but now you got the data to show you, right? You see how much email, how much coordination, and you knew it beforehand, but now you've got the quantitative data to be able to say, right, I've had X number of appointments to get this trip out the door. I have dealt with this much inquiries. I wrote this many proposals. I did this much work, and I made these many dollars. Is there an imbalance here? That's really the value of what reporting does for you. So these are the tools that are really going to help you in the future, even if you're not there now. Just really want you to understand that the tools are available to you inside of the system. Some key integrations that are available also inside of Travel Pro Suite. We talked about accounting software. So if you are taking fees, you are doing any sort of financial transactions inside of the system, I think many of you guys told me that expense management is really important. Any dollars that you are spending that you've got to get to your financial institution, or to your tax accountant, that come out of the system. If you are processing payments, we can send all of that sales data to your QuickBooks. I think that we are going to be adding Xero or some additional accounting software in the future. I'll have to check to see what that roadmap is, but we do have at least one integration point with accounting software. Marketing platforms, again, you may not be there yet, but we do integrate with Facebook and Google Ads. So being able to get that data come in and to see how healthy your Facebook and Google Ads are, you can see that inside of the system. Communication tools, we do phone and SMS texting. So you don't need to have another solution to be able to send broadcast SMS or text messages to your clients. You can do that all native in the system. Analytics tools from a marketing perspective, Google Analytics. So if you have a Google Analytics account, we can integrate your account there. And then this is really sort of the big thing for me is Google Sheets. You know, I am a huge spreadsheet person. Spreadsheets may not be your thing, but if it is your things and you like the comfort that a spreadsheet gives you, we can get, as transactions are occurring, so as bookings are occurring, as payments are occurring, we can automatically get them added to a spreadsheet for you to crunch that data and look at that data offline if that's something that you're interested in doing. So recommended external setup that I would say is really critical for you all in this space is we've talked about already having a Google My Business listing, having a Facebook business listing, really setting up all of your social media accounts, even if you're not actively using them. We want to make sure that you actually own the handle. So if you are, you know, Sunday Gardener Travel Company, I want to make sure that I own Sunday Gardener Travel Company. Whatever the name of your business is, you want to make sure that you own all the social media handles, you're connected to them. So in the event that you're ready to start building up those that content and start posting to those platforms, you already have it done. Even again, if you don't use it, my recommendation is to create the accounts, own the logins to those accounts so nobody else has ability to own your name. One of the things that I would, I've said throughout this session, and I say every time I get the opportunity, is just to let people know that you should be, you should own your own business domain. So the name of your business.com. If you own .net, .org, and that's your primary, that's okay. But again, once you get out of the space of like this operational setup, which is, you know, again, if you've been with us, you're out of that space. You're very close to being out of that space. You've set up everything you need to set up in the business. Now it's really to move on to acquiring clients on a consistent basis, getting in front of strangers and that kind of thing. If you're going to expend the time and effort to do that, we want to make sure you're not sending traffic to other people. So .com is super important for you to own. If you don't own the .com and you still own just the .net or .org, you know, you may want to book a call with me and let's talk about your options, because, you know, if someone else owns .com of your business, they own the message, and they own the ability for the message. No matter what you do, people are naturally just going to be looking for a .com. Optional Google Sheets. This is optional again. If you're not a spreadsheet person, no big deal, but we do have the ability to send data to spreadsheets. If you're dealing with like group trips and you're doing group trips and you've got to send data, usually you have to send them in a CSV file, or they have a format that they want you to send it. So to be automatically, as you're getting new enrollments into your group trips, having that populated spreadsheet just avoids you having to export it later. All that information about your clients' trips, you can export that as you go, or you can do it at one time. And I'm actually going to show you how you can do all of that in the system. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to just plop them in the chat, and I'll try and answer them as we go. All right, so let's actually take a look at what these features look like. So the first thing is hopefully you can see my screen. Can you guys still see my screen? I think so. The first thing, when you log into the application, you see a dashboard. Now, the dashboard that I'm displaying is not the dashboard that you see. That's one of the features. I am going to be rearranging the dashboard so that it brings up some important metrics based on kind of how we do business. And some of the things that I'm thinking about is just kind of see what your appointments by account are. Kind of, you know, how many confirmed appointments that you have, how many, you know, by stage. There's also another widget I'm looking at. So I will be inside, if you're not inside of our Facebook group, our Travel Pro group, over the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be just taking some polls and getting some feedback from you all to see kind of what kind of information would you guys like to see on the dashboard. I believe you can edit your own dashboards. I'm going to have to test that, but I believe you can edit your own. I am a super user, so I will be testing if you can edit your own dashboards and create your own. I will, if the ability exists for you to do that, I will allow you guys, I will open up that functionality for you. If not, I will definitely be taking polls and see what kind of information you guys essentially would like to see on the dashboard. Okay. So dashboard is really going to be a snapshot of your business. One of the things that I've been asked for, and it's going to be coming in next month's release, is a task management list, right? So as different trips are moving down the workflow, what are the associated tasks for that? We already have a task list that we utilize, that I created as a part of Opus. I didn't implement it, but we will be implementing that in the May release. So one of the items that will be on this dashboard will be the task list, where you are with the task list. So depending on the stage that you're in, there'll be a set of tasks that are coming in. You'll be able to add to those tasks if you like. You'll be able to manage those. And while we're on the subject of tasks, let me just tell you where the task lives. So right here at opportunities, when you have an opportunity, and let's say I'm just going to go to, looks like somebody put in oh, I think that's right here under task. You can add individual tasks here at the opportunity level. What I'm suggesting is going to happen is there's going to be a set of standard tasks that come associated when a trip gets created and automatically assign you guys to it with some assumptions on dates. That all that training and all that will be available in next month's release. But this is where the task will live, is you'll be able to see tasks, and then we'll also be able to bring them forward so that you can see the tasks that are associated with your clients and or opportunities. Okay. All right. So that's where tasks are. That's also dashboard. So let's talk a little bit. I'm going to kind of take you through some of the features just as a refresher, because some of you may have forgotten. But so the dashboard, again, there'll be a custom dashboard with widgets, and when you scroll down, there'll be different information. So right now, what I'm thinking is some appointment data, some contact data, and then based on each one of your pipeline, so your request pipeline, what this is showing you is how many requests you have in each of the different stages. So your request pipeline, and then the number of people that are in each one of your client booking pipeline. So that's the kind of information that I'm looking to showcase off of there. Lisa, your to-do charts are off the charts. Yes. So I may do a call asking, like, if you guys want to submit like some task list samples, and then I could take a look at those and then sort of standardize that. Like, again, we have a standard list that we created when we started Opus, but there may be some things that you guys want to add. So I will actually do a call for that. If you guys like to be a part of the development process, we can absolutely include you in that. All right, so that's the dashboard. Again, when you're in your dashboard, you can also change this. You'll be able to change this if you don't want to see that funnel, you only want to see the other funnel, you'll be able to do that. Depending on the dashboard, you'll be able to change the timeline of when things are looking at, like the time period. If it's a time-driven dashboard or widget, you'll be able to do that. So again, when I release it, there'll be training that's associated with in terms of how you use it and then how you can get data out of it. All right, so let me just remind you about conversations and what conversations are. So this, again, is a centralization of all of the touch points that your clients may have with you. So if they send you an SMS message, they reply to an email, they send you a Facebook Messenger, they send you an Instagram Messenger, all of those conversations are centralized and aggregated inside of the conversations tab on the left-hand side. So what you see is all of these conversations that someone has had with me about a particular thing, and you can see the history. So you can reply directly to the person, and then on the right hand side you see all of their contact information that's here about them. So this is not intended to be the full contact record. Again, this is a centralization of the conversations, active conversations that you may be having with your clients. So if we use Facebook Business Messenger quite a bit. Lots of people contact me through Facebook Messenger. So again, all of those conversations are here. Unfortunately, lately, a lot of it is spam, but again, it's here. It automatically creates a contact record. You can see your recents. You can start those conversations. So let's say you have a conversation here and you want to star it. You can highlight it, take an action, and star it, mark it as read, unstar it. You can delete the conversation. And deleting the conversation here doesn't delete the conversation in your client record. You can add tags to your client on the right-hand side. You can see what automations your client is already in here. You can add them to an automation here. So this is really just a central sort of communication hub that you can do. You can send them an SMS. If you have SMS connected to your account, once you're in this conversation, you can actually send them an SMS directly from here. Okay. All right. Calendar. This feature really doesn't have to do with results, but what I do like about the calendar is that when I go to appointments, I can see all of my appointments in one location. I can see it in a visual representation here, right? So I can see my calendar and I can go and look at, if I have team members, I can see everybody who's on the calendar. But more importantly, the most screen that I use the most is I actually look to see appointments, and then I'm either rescheduling appointments on the calendar here. I'm setting the status to confirmed, no show, rescheduled, or what have you. You can do that from the screen, or you can actually do this from the app that we have. You can reschedule them. You can add a new appointment. So this is your calendar hub, and actually manage your client's records. Your particular calendar. Now I'm going to spend some time on the contacts, because this right here is probably, I don't think I talk near enough about the power of the contact hub. So when it comes to managing your contact communication in aggregate, there's really two places that you can send out bulk information to clients. You can send it from this contact page, or you can send it from the workflow and create an automation and add contacts to the automation and have a mass email go out to them this way. What I like about this hub is all of your contacts are here. So if you don't have any contacts, and let's say you are migrating from an existing email marketing system, maybe you're in TravelJoy or you're in some other system and you want to import your contacts, that's going to be the first activity that you want to do, is take all of your contacts and get them into the system so that you can then communicate with them outside. We don't have a limit on the number of contacts, and we don't charge you per contacts like other email marketing tools do. So to import your contacts, all that you need to do is hit this little arrow here where it says import, and then you can create a file, a mapping file, to then get your contacts exported out of your system and then import them in. So here it says ready to be imported. This is going to give you the instructions on how to import your contacts into the system. It's going to actually give you the instructions. It's going to give you a sample template. And that sample, I think, is on the bottom. Hold on. There is like an Excel template. I thought it was on this instruction file. Here it is. I don't see it here, so I will. Used to be here. I will get you guys the set. Yeah, let me get you there's a template that you guys can use, like a CSV template, to get your contacts in that format so that you can easily import your contacts in there. So I'll also do a training on here. So once you get your contacts in that format, you'll just simply upload the file, you'll save it to your hard drive or the cloud, and you'll upload it, and then your contacts, you'll be able to upload your contacts in. It's pretty simple one-time thing that you'll do. If you need any help, you can always schedule office hours with us, and we can get you help there. Yeah, that's what I was wondering. I was wondering if that was the download, but part of me thinks that this is the download of this page, not the download of the. Yeah, on this page used to be a file that gave you a sample, but nonetheless, I have the file of the format that you can use to import the contacts in. I actually, even like if you're coming from TravelJoy, I actually have a TravelJoy layout file. So when you download your contacts from TravelJoy, it will easily convert everything and move that up. I also have one for ActiveCampaign. So if you tell me the system that you're using, if we've already done an example, we can give you an actual template that you can then extract your clients into and then load it up pretty easily. So you can post that inside the group and tag me, or you can send me an email, and then we can take a look to see what your source file is. So like if you're coming from MailChimp, Constant Contact, or someplace like that, we can kind of help you with that import. All right. So that's contacts. That's the import. So that's the first thing is if you have contacts, we want you to get the contacts into the system so you can communicate with them out. You don't have to add them manually. So that's number one. And then you can always export your contacts out. So you can just hit the down. So the up is to import, the download icon right here is export your contacts out of the system so that you have them on a CSV file. What I really like about this is your ability to create lists, right? So in other email marketing tools, they're called like segments or lists. Many email tools call them lists. But really, what we really want to do, let's say you have a group trip and you want your group trip people, you want to find all of the people who are in your group trip. So you can do that by just searching here, do a quick search, and like I've created a tag, and all of these people are associated with Bali. So you can search by keywords and find your contacts by them, or you can create a filter, which will ultimately create a smart list to do that. This is another way for you to find. So let's say you want to send an email out to everybody who is in a group and you've created a tag for that. I just search Bali and now I've got all the people who are in Bali. I can just select all, and then I can take any one of these actions and send them all an SMS message. I can add them to a new workflow. I can send them an email. I can save them as a list. So to save them as a list, I could just click on more filters. That's a tag. And then I'm going to just type in Bali. And my tag for Bali comes in. I'm going to put that here, and then I'm going to click apply. And now I've got a filter that I've created that I can then now save as a smart list. And I'm going to just call this Bali. And the purpose of a smart list is, let's say you want to do a review request for all of those people. You want to send them all a review request. You've created a workflow and you want to add them all to that. You can do that. You can send them all an SMS message. And now you see this group, this Bali I created is right here. So I can just navigate to it, and those 4 people will show up here. Okay. So this is really when you want to interact with multiple of your clients at one time, and you want to do that, doing it from the contacts sort of dashboard is a really good way to do that and interact with them. You literally can create a smart list based on any criteria about the client that you want by these filters. So I just did that filter here. I'm going to actually go back to all and create a new filter. You can create a filter on pretty much any characteristic that's in the system. So this is most used, right, by business name, company, email, first name, tag, wildcard name. A wildcard name is just simply you have some text about it, right? So I'm just going to say Sunday, and I just have sun, and I'm going to do star, and then I apply. So this is going to pull in anything with the word across the system with the word SUN, everything. So all of that is going to show up here. So you can do wildcard searches and save them as lists and pretty much on any field that we've got in the system. Any contact related field that's in the system, custom fields, all of that's available for you to do. Great. Great when you're looking for something. If you're looking for trends, so let's say again you've got a trip and it's Mexico and you want to see all the Mexico people who went to Mexico and you want to let them know that you're doing another Mexico trip next year and you want to send them a message, or you've got a group trip and maybe you've already done all the automation but you want to send them a really quick broadcast, you can do that too here. So this is really a great way to send bulk information out to people. Let's say you do a bulk action, like you send out an email. I'm going to go to group and I'm going to send out a text message to all the people who did here. That bulk action is going to live here, and the history of that bulk action and what you did will be here. So you'll be able to see what you did in aggregate. You'll see the details here. And then you'll also be able to see the stats, like how successful the action was. So here, 100% of the action was sent out to everyone. There was no errors. And then I'm able to, like if I deleted people, like maybe that was the action, I could restore those deleted contacts if that was the action that I was doing. So this bulk action is really good. Really helpful when you want to, again, work with many contacts at one time. This is also where your tasks are going to live. So when we start talking about tasks, your task for all your clients will live here. And again, I will be doing separate training on how to deal with these tasks and see them and all of that. So that will be a whole training that I do on the task. Company is, many of you probably aren't doing company management, but you can. And the way to turn that on, if you want to start to track companies that you are working with, you can go to settings. And then on the bottom, there is a option that says companies, and you can turn on create and associate companies with contacts. That's going to allow you to actually track company data and then put people into companies. We don't natively have that turned on because a lot of, most of our clients are not dealing with companies in that capacity. But if you ever foresee yourself working primarily with companies, you may decide to do that. All right, that's really, when it comes to, this is our most important data is our client data. And you, again, may not have really thought about what kind of information, but you collect so much information about your clients. Just think about it. When you're doing your travel requests, you're collecting preferences, people who said that they want to go on retreats, they want to do romantic getaways. Those are all data points that you can start to segment people about and send them specific information. So one of the things that and that's actually a really good call out. I want to show you this. So here we go to smart lists. And let's say I want to create a list of people who have answered my, what do you want to do? One of the custom fields we have is trip experience. Like what kind of trip do you want? Like your trip vibe. I think it's called trip vibe. Trip vibe here. And I want the trip vibe. I want everybody who wants a party scene. I don't know that there's anybody, but I think I do this a lot in here. I want everybody who's selected family friendly, and I want to, so, all of these travel requests submitted family friendly. I could create a smart list of those people, and then I could start to send them an email campaign a family-friendly resorts. I could, maybe I want to sell a resort. Maybe there's an offer that a supplier that's done that's family-friendly, and I want to communicate that offer to them. I can now find them. These are all the people who selected in my travel request over a period of time, family-friendly, and they would be good candidates, right? So I want you guys to really, really start to think about the power of what you guys are collecting in the form of data around your clients as they're coming into your life, right? Through your request forms is data that you can then market to them. You can create specialized offers to them. So it's not just the one time when you actually sit down and take their request. They're now forever in your system, and you can create specific marketing messages to them in the future. Let's say you build, like maybe your specialty is family travel, and you want to build maybe a new stranger offer. You know that you want to start to sell a resort that specializes, and you want to build up your points there, and you want to just build an entire relationship with the vendor that just is doing family friendly, and that's what you want to do. Now you can find all those people that have done that. You don't have to go, all you have to do is just create the list because we already have that data. So pretty much if we are collecting the data, we also then give you access to that data. That is one of the most powerful things that we do as a tool for you, is even if you don't think about it now, you have it, and you can then run promotions and or specific content to them based on the data that's in. This is travel request data that you're collecting. You're doing it as you're collecting that travel request data from your form. So any form that you create for a client, it's a data point that you'll be able to then create a segment around and then ultimately utilize in the future. Okay. All right. Any questions on this one? This one, it excites me because I love data, and the power of being able to have like this data at my fingertips is super, super great from a marketing perspective. Okay. All right. Opportunities. So again, I just want to reiterate, you can download your data. You can download a smart list. So let's say I pick this group Bali, and I only want to download, I don't want to download everyone. I could just select them. I can select that list, and then I can download just the specific smart list. I don't have to download the whole thing. Yep, you absolutely can. So LaTanya, the way that you would do that, so the question was, can you send a mass email based on a smart list? So I've got this group Bali smart list selected. I'm just going to then select the send email icon, and then it's asking, do you want to, please note that this action will perform over a period of time. You can track the progress. So like, let's say you have 1,000 people in that. It's not going to send it all at once. It'll send it in kind of a wave. And then it's just letting you know to proceed. And then you can select an email template to send it to, which is a standard email that you don't want to modify, or you can actually craft the email right here and send it to them here. Once you craft the email, then all that you need to do is just describe what this, what the action is. And usually if it's a bulk email I'm sending out, I'll just say email about whatever, and I'll put the date so that I can refer to it later. And then you click send, and it'll send the email out. So you can send an email, you can send a text message out, and then you can also add, you can do any of these actions. You can send it SMS. Same kind of flow will come up when you do an SMS. So you can type your SMS message here. You also have the ability for templates, or you can just free form your message here, and then you just give yourself a note as to what the action was, and then you can send the mass message. And then you can also add a tag to a bulk. So let's say this is your Bali trip, and then you want to add a tag, a new tag. You can add an existing tag that you have, or you can create a new tag and then have it add to them. And then the last thing is that you can add them. This little robot is, you can add them to an automation. So let's say you created, maybe you've done a special, like I said, I just look for everybody who is a family friendly or looking for family friendly. And I've created a newsletter a family-friendly newsletter, or I've got a promotion that I want to do, and I've created a workflow around that, I can then add them to a workflow that is, specific. So this is going to pull in all the automations, and you can see a workflow, and then you can select from the workflow that you've created just special for this particular group of people. All right. Tanya, do you have any other questions about that? Are you good? You want to see anything else? Does anybody else want to see anything else about the contacts? Again, this is a really good, it's your central contact hub. You can do pretty much any communication action from this hub, from the main aggregate contact, or you can do the very same thing at the individual contact level. So you can, when you're in an individual contact, you can see all the history of that contact. You can see what communication you've had with that contact right here in the center. You can see all the contact data about the contact, so their contact information. So we've got these different categories of information that we've been tracking about the contact. You can see the tags that are associated with the contact. You can add a contact tag. You can add them straight here to an automation at an individual contact level. You can you can add them to an opportunity here. So effectively, you can do actions at the contact level directly from the contact screen, or you can also do it in bulk from the contact dashboard. Here, you can, if they've unsubscribed to your messages, you can see what they've unsubscribed. So if any one of these are exited, you didn't do it, that means your contact did it. And then on the right-hand side is really their behavior, what kind of actions they've taken on your website, your pages, your forms, your appointments. And then up here in the right, you can see the notes that you have for your contacts. You can create, these are tasks, I'm sorry. These are tasks that will be assigned, that are associated with the contact record. You can add notes. You can see what appointments they've booked. You can see what documents, you can load documents to them. What is this? I'm just looking. This may be a, looks like a, I don't know why that particular image is there, but you can see any payments that they've made over time. So any transactions, you can actually run a transaction here as well from the screen. So let's say you've got they need to make a payment over the phone. If they have a card on file, you can process the payment on file here, or you can add a new card. And then again, will be integrated with your Stripe or PayPal account here. So you can set the amount, put a description, and then you can add a credit card. So if you're on the phone with them, you can take the credit card information right there and then charge their card right there. Okay. All right, so that's the contact record. And then primarily what you guys are going to be doing is you're going to be working with the trip information. So you're going to care about potential trip data and being able to get that data out of the system. So one of the questions asked in the VIP was like, okay, I have, maybe I've got bookings and I want to see all of my group trips. So here I'm going to take off that filter and I'm going to look at, again, you can do it by custom opportunity fields. You can do it by owner. Like you guys don't pretty much have owners, but I'm trying to see if there's, so let's say I want to do start date. A trip start date is last 7 days. Here, I don't have anybody, but I could create myself a report of all of the trips that are about to start in the next 7 days, right? So that's kind of what you can do as well. So you literally can define, this is the way that you can do custom kind of on-demand queries against the data, is by applying filters. And then once you've set that filter, you can then export the data out as well. And once you've established the filter, so I'm just going to set a filter by lost just to see how many lost I have. I don't know that I have any marked lost. I don't think I have any in this system marked lost. I think I just end up deleting them. So I'm gonna set it for 1 or open. here. Oops. Here. So this is going to show you all the open opportunities that I have. And then if I want to export that, I'm going to just export that. And it's going to export a CSV, which is just a comma delimited file that you can open in Excel or you can open in Google Sheets, whatever you want. And then it's going to bring all that data around those clients out into a file for you. Okay, so this is all the opportunity data here. It's going to bring out all that data for you. Okay, so you can create any kind of filter that you want and look at the data any way that you want to on the screen, or only look at certain data that you want to. So that's available to you. You can also sort that data by date added or value, and then you can also search for data. So if I just want to look for all of Sundays, all the trips that Sunday is going on, I can just search by name and it's going to pull in all of the Sunday. Again, it's got this filter on it, so it's also looking based on the filter. So if I remove that and do all, it'll bring in all of the Sunday things, all the trips that have Sunday's name in it. So that's one way that you do it. Just remember that we've got, I think it's 8 stages here that we're working with. So things are moving along the stages based on actions that you're taking in the system. The client booking training will go over how to move all of that. I was working with a client earlier, and she's doing some unique bookings or group trips. So you can always create your own pipeline. You don't have to, out of the box, we give you 2 pipelines. We give you the request pipeline and the client booking. If you have a custom pipeline that you want to create, you can create your own. You're not just limited to these 2. So you can create any kind of custom workflow pipeline that you want to manage the way that you want to do business. So that feature and functionality is available to you as well. All right. So opportunities, trips are a really big area of your business that you're going to want to track information around. When we talked yesterday, one of the big things that we talked about is your request process, right? Many of you guys said that, your processes and the steps in between were good, but you'd like to get, I think we talked 10, 29 trips booked, right? So that means that those trips are proposal approved, right? And we talked about yesterday the fact that how many inquiries do you need to have on the front end of that system to make it do what it do, right? So understanding how are you going to get more people on the front end of this process is really going to be critical. So, and then moving them down the pipeline and really understanding how many people are either dropping off or, maybe they submit, but they don't book appointments. That's going to be a really important metric. If you find you're doing really good on getting people submit, but then they don't follow through. It's going to give you some data points for you to say, okay, what's going on that they're not booking the appointments? Is something broken? Maybe it's the automation not working. Is somebody hacked the system and they're just randomly putting in requests and they're not moving forward? So if you were to ever see an uptick in inquiries, but they're not getting to the next stage, you would want to ask yourself, why is that? Right? Or maybe you get a bunch of booked appointments, but they're not paying your design fee. Why is that? Right? So again, asking those really important questions when you see changes in the way the behavior or the expected behavior is going to be really important for you. All right. This financial payments. So once you get your payments, the money, this is the management or seeing of the money. So again, this is for all processed payments internal to the system. If you are processing payments external to the system, you're not really going to see money on the invoice side. You'll see money on proposals, how much your proposal value is and how much proposals that you're getting approved. But obviously, if you're not taking in the dollars, you won't see those dollars on the invoice side. You'll only see them on the proposal side. But you have the opportunity to track all of that, your products. And again, your ability to extract, let's say you do have invoices, you could go to all invoices and you could run a filter by status of the invoice and or payment mode, and then you could download that data as well. And if you're integrated with QuickBooks, it'll automatically send that data to QuickBooks. Okay. All right. Any questions on the payment piece? No? Okay. All right. So I'm going to just kind of fast forward to, because I'm not going to show you all this. What I really want to do is show you some of the reporting analytics. So here, I am a Facebook ads runner, so I'm actually going to open up my account and let me get this all set up for you and show you the Facebook ads, like what that looks like. And when you're, or is anybody on the line who runs Facebook ads or is interested in running Facebook ads? Or Google?
I'm interested. I just haven't run them.
You just haven't run them? Uh-oh. There we go. All right, so this is, so I'm going to go to Facebook ads. So I'm going to do, I think last month we ran a campaign. So since we integrate with Facebook, it will show you just kind of the health of the ad. It'll show you all the Facebook ads metrics in the system. So, you know, how much money you spent, what's your average CPC. And so when you're running ads, these are going to be critical metrics that you'll be tracking, is like how much it costs you per click, how much it's costing you per conversion, depending on the type of ad that you're running. So this was like, we just ran a small little ad last month, just from an engagement perspective. We're testing out some stuff. So this just lets us know how well that ad did. Again, when you get out of the operation phase, this is kind of the phase that you're going to want to see. Is, I think somebody was talking yesterday about boosting ads and how do you get visibility. And Facebook is a pay-to-play platform, a triple P is what I call it. And so if you want to be visible on Instagram without doing the SEO and hashtags, paying for boosting a post or running specific campaigns is definitely the way that you can be seen on Facebook and target your specific audience of people. And being able to see the health of that is going to be important. So for this particular ad, we ran it for, I think, maybe a week. So we spent $120 for that. We got 181 clicks. But more importantly, we were running video ads. And so the purpose of us doing that, when I click on this ad, was I wanted to track the traffic of the people who actually watch the videos so that we could retarget them later. So that's a bunch of mumbo jumbo about specifically, you know, who's interested in a piece of content. Do they engage with that content? And if they do engage with that content, can I then target them to run like content in the future around a promotion or something else to that effect? So this is the kind of things that you can do. This is the space you're going to want to move to, because now you've got a system that allows you to create sales pages, allows you to create your trips. All of that is going to be quickly behind you. For those that have been with us for a couple of months, it is going to be behind you. Now, what do you do with your time? It's get clients, right? It's going to be really focusing on your client attraction. And so moving to the marketing and advertising space is definitely something that you may want to consider. So this, again, these are the different ads that we ran. If you're new to Facebook ads, the thing about Facebook is their back office is real cumbersome. The fact that this data is all available here, that means I don't have to write and configure a report. I can do it all from the system. I don't have to leave the system to be able to do that. So that makes it really convenient here. As we become more mature and our user base becomes more mature, there is functionality that we will be deploying in the future that will allow you to actually create the ad outside and inside of this account. that is a function, that's feature that we will be releasing most likely later in the year. Because again, I would like to see you guys be a little bit more mature and ready to do that, and more people who are interested in that, where it'll just be an option and you can create a Facebook ad directly from the system, and you don't even have to leave the system to run the ad. Okay. We went a little bit over attribution. I'm not going to spend a lot of time here. But if you are using the system, our industry is really not doing like mass cold calling and calling in people. But if you were, you could do that. You could see kind of like call reports and your sales teams and that kind of stuff. Really, most likely the report that you guys would be interested in is your appointment report, which will let you know how many people have booked, confirmed, showed, no showed, cancel, and you can see those metrics here. So this is a really great report to just see, because if discovery calls are critical to you, which many of you guys told me that it is, this is a report that you're going to want to see. It's like over, and you can set the time, you can filter, you can set the date criteria. So let's say I just want to see for the month of March all the appointments that were booked in March. I can see that there were 59 booked, 46 confirmed, and only 4 showed that I marked showed, right? That could be indicative of, this is all test data. Well, no, this is actually my account. So it could be that I didn't mark that. I'll tell you that's exactly what it is. I didn't mark them all showed, but this is a good way for, like, I would be, if I were looking at this data, I would be looking at this number, right? How many people are booking appointments and not showing? And if this is high, this tells me that there's a problem with our communication process. That means people are booking appointments, they're not showing up. That means that my calendar is getting booked and it's getting full and they're not showing. So that's a waste of everybody's time. So if this was a high number, I would want to see if we can improve the reminder series that we have on our appointments. We have a pretty strong reminder series. So, the fact that I have a book to confirmed, everything comes in confirmed. So that doesn't really concern me. What concerns me is that I'm not following my own process. I'm not marking them showed, because this should be higher. I shouldn't have people, I should dispose of them. So that's the kind of thing. When you're dealing with you guys, your discovery call process is part of your process, right? People make requests and you want to meet with them. The more people that you meet with, the more design fees you potentially make. The more design fees you potentially make, the more bookings you make, right? So every step matters, and really understanding that. So this appointment report is available to you all. You can see it at a glance. If you are new to booking discovery calls, you don't have discovery calls on your book, and you have a goal of X number of, bookings per month, this is a real critical metric. You should be asking yourself, how many appointments do I have on my calendar right now? And what am I doing to get more appointments? Okay. All right. I'm going to pause and then ask if you guys, is there anything that you guys would like to see, have any questions on? Feel free to come off mute and we can talk about that, and I can show you any of those features. No questions? No comments? No thoughts? No? All right. What it takes to create an automation. All right, so just a couple of clicks. So let me go back to the demo account, so we're not in my live account creating havoc. All right, so out of the system, if you're in trial, you only have, I think, 3 folders. Once you come out of trial, you'll get the rest of the folders, but there's these folders that represent the Opus process. You can create and add workflows to those folders or create your own folders. You really can do whatever you want. But to create a workflow, that's what an automation is referred to. It's right here on the left-hand side. It's called automation. Just click workflow, and there's some recipes that are already available to you. here. You know, these recipes are available. I typically start from scratch just because I like a clean slate, but you can explore any of these recipes that you would like. But let's just create one from scratch. And then I'll just kind of walk you through quickly what that standard is. You're going to get sort of this generic title. I always like to name the title of the workflow a very specific title. Then the question you have to ask yourself is, how are people going to get into the workflow? What's the event or action that they're going to perform that's going to start and kick the workflow off? It could be they clicked on an email, they called you, they booked an appointment, they didn't show for the appointment, they did show for the appointment. It could be any myriad of different triggers, and that's what a trigger is. It's a definition of what makes them come into the workflow. In the system, you've got all of these different characteristics that you can trigger an automation on. So birthday, contact change, like any one of these things here. And then before you start a workflow or an automation, you really need to start with a blank sheet of paper and ask yourself, what is it that you want to do? Because if you start here, and this is kind of what I tell people, when you start here, you get yourself really easily confused. So I always like to start with a blank sheet of paper and ask myself the following questions. One, how are people going to get into it? And then what do I want to happen? Do I want to send an email? Do I want to send a text message? Do I want to add a tag? Do I want to notify myself? Do I want to notify somebody else? Like, what do I want to occur? Design it on paper, and then literally you can do whatever you want here, because we pretty much, if you can think of it, we can probably do it. And so one of the things that we can do, which is the thing that I said, which is Google, is we can, let's say the trigger is somebody fills out a contact, they fill out a form. So that trigger would be they complete a survey. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to type survey. They submit a survey, and I'm going to select the survey that they do. I'm going to say survey is equal to, and this is going to be the list of surveys that are available here. And let's say it's our request survey. That's our standard request survey. And I only want to send survey. I only want an action to occur when on that trip vibe one I said, right? So when somebody selects trip vibe equal, you know, family friendly, that's the trigger. That's when I want this trigger to come in. So what I would do is I would name it, I would call it family friendly vibe. Because I like to name things. I'm pretty stickler for that. For you guys who know me know that I like to just come back and know what it is. So what do I want to do? I want to send, maybe I want to send it to a spreadsheet. I want to send it to a Google spreadsheet. I want that contact record to send to a spreadsheet. I don't know why. I just want to show you the Google integration. So here I'm going to add to a Google sheet and send data to a Google sheet. Action is I want to do any one of these actions. I want to create a spreadsheet row, create multiple spreadsheet rows, look up a spreadsheet row. I can do any of these things, right, with the spreadsheet. I want to create a new row. Then my Google account is already connected here, so it's then going to go here, and it's going to go look at my drive, and I'm going to pick, you know, what location. And if I've already designed the spreadsheet, meaning I've already created the spreadsheet and I've already, you know, established the columns and all of that, I can select the spreadsheet from this list, and then it will connect. So that's really what you can do. So you can do any myriad of different actions here. I just wanted to kind of show you the coolness of the spreadsheet integration. All you have to do is connect your Google account, and then you can add lookup rows, do all sorts of fun stuff here. You can add wait statements. You can do email. Just, you know, if you can think of it, you type it. You can email. If you already have a pre-recorded voicemail, you can send somebody a voicemail. You can record a voicemail. Like there's all sorts of great things that you can do. So creating the automation is pretty simple. Really, the hard part is defining what you want to do. And then once you, so let's say you want to send an email. you'll put you can select from templates that are already available, or you could just write a freehand email. You could write a text, you could send an SMS, you can do all that. You click save, publish, and then save, and then anyone who meets that criteria, it would fire off. So creating the workflow is pretty simple, not very complicated. Really, it's just a matter of your imagination. What do you want to do? We pretty much can do a lot of different things with you based on a lot of different actions. So payments, phone, like if somebody calls you, if somebody's texts you, if somebody, you know, they didn't open an email and you want to send it to people who didn't open an email. There's like all different types of use cases you can think of. So if you want to do it, design it on paper. And if you can't think about how to do it, this is where the community comes in. Post it in the community and ask, well, I want to do this. Like, has anybody else thought about this? You know, as our community grows, people will have used it. I've got some pretty savvy users already in our community who are doing some really cool stuff. But, you know, if someone doesn't answer, I try to answer all of the items that come in. But again, as our community grows, I think we will start to see a lot of people ask some really unique things that they're doing, and you can get some feedback from the community of users that we've got. All right, I'm not going to save this because we didn't really do much, but again, pretty easy to set that up. Any other questions you guys want to go through? No? All right, so for those that are new to the system, my next steps for you is for you to continue testing the system. If you haven't already booked your onboarding call with us, please schedule that onboarding call with us so that we can point you to the training and you can get everything, you know, crack-a-lack, and you can get things going. We want you to build out that travel request process as your first step, so that you can at least start to realize the benefits of getting a request into the system and get your workflow started. If you're already beyond all of that setup and you don't see the other features, just reach out to us. We'll get the rest of the system copied over to your account, and so that you can do your client booking, payments, and all that other stuff. If you've been with us a long time, and you're like, okay, Sunday, now what? Who wants to hear about the now what? Let me know in comments. If you're not interested about the now what, I will let you guys go, and we'll meet in 15 minutes. But if you've gone through all the modules, or you've gone through near all of the modules, let me know. We can talk about sort of the next step, because literally now, this is Series 5. This is the end of the Opus workflow. If you're new, you'll be able to start over. If you've already gone through them and you don't want to go through them again, you know, you have access to all the recordings. You can participate in the next round. But in May, we are restarting with travel requests, and we're going to go through the workflows again. Each month, we'll be taking a look at the current workflow and then either updating, because there's new features that are in the system, so we'll be evaluating the way that we're doing things and see if there's opportunity to improve the process. So you may see tweaks to our workflows and introduction of new features based on our prioritization of the feature requests that have come in. So that's what's upcoming next month. I also want to show you some what's coming up in this month's feature release. So this month, for reputation management, we're going to be doing a welcome home survey and automation around that welcome home survey. So that's when somebody has come back into town, welcoming them back into town, and then soliciting a welcome home survey to fill out. And then we will also be including in that a review request automation. So having them automatically be asked to submit a Google and or Facebook review on your account. And then we'll also deliver a review request campaign idea guide. That's sort of wordy, but really what I was envisioning and what I've actually started jotting down my ideas here is every quarter, every month, some regular frequency, you should be asking for reviews of your community for your entire email list, right? Maybe they didn't give you a review request, but they didn't give you a review, as a part of your process, you should be regularly asking for reviews. So running a campaign that just says, hey, we've got, we know that you've been a client of ours. Would you mind doing a review? And just doing that sort of review request, running contests or running incentive or review requests. So that's what that campaign idea guide is going to do, is give you the opportunity to do that. And then on the reporting features, we will be releasing a dashboard. Like I said, I showed you, give you a little bit of a sneak peek, but that's going to have a dashboard of critical metrics. We're also going to be releasing weekly to your email, delivering metrics around your account to your inbox. That's something that we're going to be doing. We already have the trip commission tracking feature available in the opportunities, but I've not done training on it and really have not talked about it. So I'm really going to be talking about how to track your commissions and where that is and how to utilize that inside of the opportunity section. And then really having a group trip tracker via a Google Sheet. That will be something that we'll be releasing this month. All right. And then if you want to go through the series again, we're restarting in May. We're starting with the travel request process again, and we'll be going through that whole workflow and the setup of that workflow, and our workshop will be around that. So every month going forward, it will be talking about one of the 5 workflows, and we'll end again with the travel work with the reputation and review. All right, any questions on what's upcoming? My goal is to release this before our April release this before the end of the month. So most likely in the next 2 weeks, I'll have this ready to go. I may do 2 separate releases, one that's around the reputation and then do a reporting feature release. So just working with the team on how we intend to release that. But as always, on our site, I just want to remind you, we do have a release on our release sites. We have release notes. So if you want to ever see kind of what we've already released in the past on our site, you can go to our release site, and all of our notes, we track what happens on every release and what's included and what to expect inside of that release. So we'll continue that. We'll have an April release, 1 or 2 releases in April, so that you can progress forward. Now, for those who are like, you've gone through all the modules, you've gone through all the Opus steps, now what? So some of you guys are already MAPS members. Some of you guys are already Opus Platinum members. We start in May. We start marketing training. So really, we are going to be going into like how to build stranger offer funnels, how to get traffic visible to that. One of our MAPS training that we did at the beginning of the year was building yourself an 18-month roadmap. We won't repeat that, but that'll be available to you if you do decide to join MAPS. But that's really going to be the next step, is MAPS. MAPS, it's focused really around your profitability and making sure that your business is profitable and that you're marketing your business so that you are getting more people into the business. So that's really the next steps is, if you want training on how to market the business and really leverage that, MAPS would be the next natural step for you. If you're interested in that, reach out to me and we can schedule some time to talk about MAPS. All right. Any questions or comments? Because if not, I will take a break and then I will see the VIPers in the VIP room. No questions? No comments? No? All right. Well, it has been a pleasure this month hosting you all. And for those who are in VIP, give me 10 minutes and I take a break. And I will see you in the VIP room in 10 minutes. And for those that want to join me again next month, you'll get the notification on our Sweet Success Travel Mastering Your Travel Request Process. And you're welcome, if you've already been through it, you're welcome to go through it again. Because again, any new features that we do, we'll highlight that inside of that, and may just be a good refresher for you as well. So I'll see you guys next month. If you're not a part of VIP, I'll see you next month, and have a good rest of your week. Talk to you soon. See you VIPers shortly.